All right, we will call the meeting to order. Please rise for the prayer and pledge of allegiance.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good evening, everybody. We will move to item D, the approval of minutes. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the minutes shall stand approved from the March 4th, 2024 regular council meeting. They will stand approved. Item E, citizen communication. Anyone is in the audience that would like to address council for anything outside of the agenda, feel free to come forward. Item F, reports from council committees. Item F1, the electric committee met on March 11th, 2024, and we recommend to council to draft legislation for the updated solar rules and recommend council to approve the power supply cost adjustment factor for March 2024, SPSCA 3-month average factor 0.01628 and JV2 0.065645. The Water, Sewer, Refuse, Recycling, and Litter Committee did not meet on March 11th due to lack of agenda items. And F3, the Municipal Properties, Building, Land Use, and Economic Development Committee did not meet on March 11th due to lack of agenda items. Item H, introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. Item H1, resolution number 006-24, a resolution authorizing contracts for the townships of Napoleon, Harrison, Freedom, and the Village of Florida, and Henry County South Joint Ambulance District for fire service and or emergency medical service commencing April 1st, 2024, and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Second.
Thank you. Andy?
Yes, Council President. This legislation approves entering into safety service contracts with Napoleon, Freedom, Harrison Townships, the Village of Florida, and South Joint Ambulance District. As in previous years, this contract is based on cost from last year, and the numbers are established by a complex formula of population for the EMS and property values for the fire side of things. I would ask for a suspension of rules as the date that this is to become effective is April 1st.
Good. Any questions from council?
Motion for suspension.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. Okay, that will pass under suspension, under emergency.
That was just suspension you voted on.
Oh, thank you. Any questions on the resolution before we vote? Okay, I'm hearing none. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. All right, now it will pass under suspension. Item H2, resolution number 007-24, a resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds in excess of $50,000 for the purpose of performing the 2024 sanitary sewer flow monitoring update and to award said bid to Samtech Consulting Services, Inc. and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Yes, Council President, as I spoke about in the last council meeting, this is flow monitoring that is required by the Ohio EPA as part of the findings and orders. There have been 6 studies performed since 2008, and all of these studies were performed by Stantec. With that said, I will defer to Chad, see if he has any information.
Yes.
The information provided by city manager is correct. They've done those studies as well as other studies for us at the plant, as well as many infrastructure projects. They, as part of the work required by the EPA, we maintain what's called a SWIM model. It's essentially a model of how our sewer system operates. They operate and maintain our model for us. So because of their experience with all of our previous work, and in an effort to keep it all so it's the same, it all looks the same, it's the information you can search the same, we're just requesting to enter into a contract with Stantec. This legislation would not award a contract to them, but it will allow us to enter into contract negotiations with them without going through the quality-based selection process. With the belief, based on what we presented, that quality-based selection would come to the same conclusion, just take another 2 months to get there. So we're just asking to waive the quality-based selection process with this legislation. I had originally asked for suspension. I am not requesting that tonight. We're trying to negotiate some pricing pending this passage, and if my numbers don't get more in line, we won't move forward with this.
Okay.
So I do ask for this to be passed, just not under suspension.
Thank you, Chad. Any questions or comments from council? Okay. I'm hearing none. Amanda, please call the roll on the resolution, please.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to second reading. Item H3, resolution number 008-24, a resolution supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States Semi-Cinquentennial. I think I know that. Is there a motion? Thank you.
Yes, Council President, this is the resolution that Brian Tilts, the Historical Society President, Henry County Historical Society President, asked us to pass when he was here at the last meeting in regard to the American 250 celebration. This is actually a revised copy of the one that he presented. There were a couple of issues with the one that he presented that our law director cleaned up. So this is it. I would ask that we suspend the rules on this as well, just to get it passed. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of feedback on it.
I agree. Is there a motion for suspension?
Second.
Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. Any questions or comments on the resolution? Hearing none. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. All right, that will pass under suspension on first read. We'll move on to item I, second reading of ordinances and resolutions. There are none this evening. Item J, third reading. J1, ordinance number 003-24, an ordinance amending sections 925.07, 925.12, 925.13, 925.16, 925.17, 925.19, and 925.22 of the City of Napoleon, Ohio codified ordinances as they relate to refuse service, also amending ordinance numbers 082-04, 062-18, rules for disposal at the city's yard waste collection sites. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Andy?
Yes, Council President. Typically, I will, especially on third read, I'll say there's no changes to the legislation, but in this case, I did make a change. I added, I differentiated between a lawn service and handyman company versus a tree service and tree removal companies. I felt it only fair. We have several small businesses in town that do lawn care. They might clean up some brush, et cetera, from homes. But it is not to the extent that a tree service brings large dumpings out to the yardway site. So I thought, in fairness to those companies, I would maintain their fee at $200 each year. So that was the language I added. Otherwise, the essence of the language is unchanged. The rate for the in-county tree service, tree removal company stays at $1,000, and out-of-county stays at $2,000. Other than that, there are no other changes to the legislation.
Since there was an amendment, if we were to pass this, does it have to go back to second read?
So was this amendment requested last time? I don't recall.
It was not requested.
Okay. So number one, we got the vote to amend it in that direction. We would have to vote to suspend the rule requiring an automatic, back step to second read. I think if you amend on third read, it would have to go back to second by, I think, it's Council Rule 6.2.1. So you would need to suspend that rule as well, and then you would need to vote on the legislation itself. So that's 3 separate readings.
Okay. So a motion to amend it.
Motion to amend, a motion to suspend the rules requiring that it go back to second read, and then a vote on the actual legislation as it stands.
And we would be voting on the legislation.
After that
On
amendment
third read.
there, yes.
Yeah.
On third read, yes.
Perfect. All right. I'll open the floor. Questions, comments. I know this is one that many individuals have had different thoughts and opinions on, so if there are any other questions at this time before we do these votes, feel free.
So I would just add, as we talked about it in the past, Ross, you commented, Andy commented, I think I won't misquote you, but that the committee worked very hard on coming up with the original proposal. They did their due diligence investigation, went through the numbers. I really think it's important that we recognize the committee's work. That was primarily my reason for voting against it last time, because I look at it and also look and say, okay, the original proposal, $20 a month, $4 tag, $6 tag. If we compare that again to 23 actuals, which may be the best comparison, versus 24 budget, we know would be somewhat conservative. We still come out, 100,000. Actually, we increased revenue by 144 per these numbers, and we probably outstrip our expenses by nearly 100,000, which would be right around that, almost 10%. Hopefully above our expenses. So that really is the drive for me. I realize that the tags cost wasn't going to be a big factor because less people use tags. I also would echo what Jordan had said, that driving more people to recycle I think is very important, because our landfill costs are going up, and that's part of our total equation here as well. So I just kind of wanted to really clarify why I still support the original proposal by the committee.
Thank you, Tom.
I would also like to say I support the original proposal because it seems like we're socializing costs more and more. And like Jordan said about the recycling, it encourages people to recycle if they see their tags going up in cost. And it's also not fair to the individuals that have less than 2 bags. If you look at the majority of our citizens, they've got less than 2 bags. And it encourages them to do the recycling. We've got a number of citizens that have half a bag or less a week. And how is that fair to them to socialize the cost of the tag by keeping it less and raising everybody's trash by $1? It's only $1, but it's just what I feel we should do.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I guess I'd echo exactly what Dr. Dave and Tom have said. And I would also emphasize, our community and in everything that we do in life really is based on your actions. And I think that we are penalizing the people who aren't using services. We're not curbing actions. We're not re-educating on recycling. I just am concerned that by going to this amendment thing, we're offsetting costs for people who aren't using the recycling program that's offered. We're offsetting costs for individuals that are using extra bags. I support the original suggestion.
Thank you.
If we'd like to make a motion, do we do that now or do we do that after?
Now would be a good time. That would be a separate motion from the first three that I just talked about. If you're looking to amend back to the original numbers, I would say that should be your motion. It sounds like if you have at least a second here, and then they can vote on that. And then separately on Andy's amendment, hopefully. And then the suspension of the rules requiring it to go back to second read, and then eventually onto the ordinance.
So with that, I would make a motion to amend to the original $20 a month and the $4 and $6 tax.
Can we include Andy's adjustment within that motion?
I would prefer that we don't do that because it may be a 7-0 vote on Andy's amendment, right? And who knows what on the other ones. So.
Sounds good. Okay. Amanda, please call the roll to. Oh, we got it in a second.
Second, please.
Really excited about this one.
I'll second.
Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll to amend the legislation back to its original proposal from the committee.
Ken,
No.
Bob,
No.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany? No. Ross?
Yes. Okay. Can we have a motion to amend the legislation to include Andy's addition?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. Bill, if we wanted this to go back to second vote, as it stands now, it's at.
You could leave it alone and then vote simply on the vote on the ordinance on the second read at that point.
Okay.
But I don't know how everybody else feels.
Right. Is there a motion to suspend the rules to avoid the legislation going back to second reading?
Motion to suspend.
Second.
Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken,
No.
Bob,
No.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany? No. Ross?
No. And one last vote for the legislation on second read?
Correct.
Is there a motion?
As amended, of course.
As amended.
Yes, on second read.
Amended back to
The original numbers and with Andy's suggested amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions before we vote? Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken,
No.
Bob,
No.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany? No. Ross?
Yes. Okay. I'll pass the second read and move on to third, as amended. Thank you, Billy, for that. Of course. All right. Item J2, resolution number 004-24, a resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds in excess of $50,000 for the purpose of purchasing an AMI system and all necessary appurtenances for the City of Napoleon Electric Department, and to award said bid to Wesco and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Andy.
Yes, Council President, there are no changes to this resolution.
Do you want there to be?
No, sir.
Any questions or comments from council? I'm hearing none. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes. That will pass on the third read under emergency. Item K, good of the city. K1, discussion or action, approval of the power supply cost adjustment factor for March 2024. SPSCA 3-month average factor 0.01628 and JV2 0.065645. Andy.
Mr. President, as I discussed at the last month on these numbers, they are coming down. As you can see, the numbers down from last month based on Fremont Energy Center being back online. Other than that, there's nothing significant about the number.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve? Motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes. All right. Item K2, discussion or action.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I would suggest that all the members of council please read the editorial in the center of the editorial page in the Northwest Signal tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Very pertinent to this.
Item K2, discussion or action to accept a $4,000 grant for the Ford County ADAMHS board grant. Andy?
Yes, Council President, this Adams H Board grant is used to cover the cost for the DARE and LEAP programs, which are the drug education and awareness programs run by our SRO. It covers workbook, teaching material, graduation items, and prizes that the SRO presents during his courses. Chief, did you have anything to add to that?
Unless there are any questions, I don't have anything to add. The LEAD program is a fairly new one that's come across nationwide, but it's much more interactive, and it deals with a lot more about dealing with drugs, bullying, and violence as well.
And this is an annual grant that I believe we've received the past several years.
Mr. Hayes, this is the item you were mentioning that's in the paper,
That's on
the last issue.
the last issue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there a motion to accept this grant?
A motion.
Second.
Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes. Okay. K3, discussion or action, purchase of truck and plow for wastewater treatment plant. Andy?
Yes, Council President. I did invite Jeremy Oakley, our wastewater treatment plant superintendent, here this evening. He has done some work in trying to find this truck, and he was able to find one somewhat locally that was even better than the state bid contract price. And we can get it almost immediately after we pass the legislation. So I don't know if Jeremy had anything to add, but if you have any questions, you can certainly ask Jeremy. I did include his memorandum in the packets describing the whole process.
Below budget, I will add, it's always appreciated.
It is, and it really is exactly what he would have looked for.
Yeah.
So, we're very fortunate. And they are holding the truck for him, so we'd like to get this done ASAP. So if we could direct the law director to draft appropriate legislation, then we'll get that hopefully passed under suspension and emergency, and we can get that purchased.
Jeremy, do you think we'll have this truck this year?
Yeah, they have it in stock actually with the plow on it already, so
Awesome.
yeah,
Okay.
worked out really well.
Good deal. Okay. Is there a motion to draft, law director to draft legislation?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Dave. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes. Item K4, discussion or action, first quarter budget adjustments. Finance Committee meets on March 25th. Are we just requesting the law director to draft legislation?
Yes. This is typical what we do So we're just asking the law director to enact legislation following that meeting so it could go to council the April 1st meeting of the council meeting.
Perfect. Is there a motion?
A motion.
Second. Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. Item K5, discussion or action to award the West Front Street Improvement Project to Ward Construction Company. Andy.
Yes, Council President, I will ask Chad to address this.
As noted on the screen, a memo was included in your packet. On Wednesday, March 6th, we opened the bids for the West Front Street Improvement Project. We received 5 bids. The low bid received was from Ward Construction Company. They're out of Lipstick, Ohio. Their bid was $405,295. The engineer's estimate was $455,000, so it was under the estimate and the budget. I am requesting that council approve award of the project to Ward Construction in the amount of $405,295. The completion date for that project is October 26th of this year. Obviously, we do not have a schedule yet, but if we are able to award this project, we'll get moving on a pre-construction meeting, and it'll probably be summer construction. So.
Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a motion to award the bid?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. Item K6, discussion or action to accept donations to the Parks and Rec Department.
As Council President, I will allow Mr. Tony Cotter, our Parks and Rec Director, to speak to these donations.
Thank you. Yes, the Parks and Recreation Department recently received 2 donations. The first of which was from Napoleon Church of the Nazarene. They have annually been donating their proceeds from their 5K. This was the proceeds from 2023's run, which was in the amount of $8,000. Previously discussed it with the church, and they wanted those funds to be earmarked towards the playground that we are installing, and it's nearly complete, at Swearingen Park. So we're real appreciative of that. The other donations that we received was in the amount of $385, which were memorials for the late Rick Fryman, and these funds were requested to be used for the youth baseball program.
Thank you, Sally. Is there a motion to accept these donations?
Motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave? Yes. Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. Okay. Item K7, discussion or action, approval of plans and bid documents for the 2024 miscellaneous street improvements project. Andy?
Yes, Council President, this is one that I know it's going to be a lot of work for our engineering and public works and construction crews, et cetera, but I'm really excited that we're going to be able to pave as many streets as we are this coming year. I don't recall a time in the city's past where we've done 28 streets. Last year we did 7 as comparison, and I think that's probably more the norm than 28. So it's going to be a big year of making streets black. I will allow Chad to speak to it if you have any questions.
The list is there. I always told you give me money, I'll use it to pay.
I noticed that a lot of them are closely connected. Easy movement of material and
That does
machinery.
help when estimating. Your mobilization costs go way down.
You know, with the work we've done on the south side the last couple of years, the streets over there have been, I won't say neglected, but they haven't had a surface put on them for many, many years. And with the work that we've done, it just tears it up that much more. So when you start looking at, okay, let's look at this street, well, then this street's connected. I mean, literally half the south side is going to get paved this coming year.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm excited about what's going to occur in the next 6 months or so.
questions or other comments from council? Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Brittany. Yes. Ross.
Yes. K8, discussion or action for the East Washington Street Improvements Project. Andy, anything on that?
Yeah, I'm going to pass it along to Chad one more time, and then he can be done, but he'll handle this one.
All right.
Last year, we started the design process for the East Washington Street Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project. It is one of the final projects required of the city by the EPA. The way the project was initially started, we need to replace the sanitary sewer from the wastewater plant to essentially down East Washington to East Riverview, up East Riverview to Perry, turn the corner at Perry and go to Main Street, and that will allow us to complete the EPA's requirement. We started this project as 4 phases. We then modified it to be 2 or 3 phases. The phase we are currently working on, and we are under a contract with the designer, is to replace the sanitary sewer from the plant to East Riverview Avenue. The estimated cost of that's around $1 million, $1.2 million, because this is a 36-inch sanitary sewer. It'll be one of the largest in the city. Because of some grant opportunities I became aware of, I've been making applications. We have another opportunity for an additional grant. This grant is best achieved if we do more than just sanitary sewer. Our best chance of receiving this grant is if we rebuild the street just like Park Street, for the most recent example. So this would replace the sanitary sewer, which is undersized, and it is a brick arch sewer. It is a laid up brick arch sewer. The storm sewers are in decent shape but need to be extended. The water line is in poor condition. We've had breaks down there. It's an old cast iron line. It needs to be replaced. And if you're familiar with that part of town, East Washington is the only street in that neighborhood that has not been improved. Every other street has new curb and gutter. I say new. It was done since 2000, so it's relatively new compared to some others. If we do not get this grant, we can draw back on the project itself. However, the contract I currently have with Peterman is under $50,000 for design of a sewer. To add the additional design costs and survey costs, it's going to push me over $50,000. I'm not permitted to enter into that contract. Because they're 75% done with the project, I would like to amend. Actually, right now we're working off a PO because it's under $50,000. I would create a contract to complete the remaining design required. But that would take legislation for me to not go through the quality-based selection process like we mentioned on the other one. They're already 75% done with the sanitary sewer design. This would allow me to have a contract that includes design of the entire length of East Washington from the plant to Riverview. The future extension of that sanitary sewer would be under a separate contract to possibly them, possibly a different contractor. But the legislation we're asking for, and I'm sorry for the long explanation, but I'm trying to explain why we want to waive the quality-based selection process and how we got in this situation. It's to try to get another $500,000 grant. So I'm just asking for directing the law director to draft the appropriate legislation to waive the quality-based selection process and enter into a contract with Peterman and Associates Incorporated. Is that enough words? Perfect.
Man, as long as you got all that, as far as the motion goes, I think we should be set.
I got it.
Okay.
Recorded anyway.
That's good. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to draft the legislation?
So moved.
That's it.
I'll second.
Perfect. Any questions or comments before we vote? Hearing none, Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Brittany.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes. Chad, thank you.
Thank you.
Item K9, discussion or action, approval of liquor permit for Napoleon Municipal Golf Course, 521 Glenwood Ave. Andy?
Yes, Council President, this will change we'll add the D2 designation for the liquor permit. It's currently just D1, which allows the sale of beer. D2 will allow the sale of some additional beverages, seltzers, etc. Tony, did you have anything to add to that?
It just gives us the ability to have more options out there. Anything under 42 proof now we can sell. The high noons, the fireballs that everybody seems like to drink, but we're not allowed to sell them, but now we can, so that'll be a good thing. So those types of offerings.
Thank you, Tom. Billy, in the past,
No actions necessary, silence is accepted.
Any questions or comments from council before we proceed? Item K10, discussion or action, approval of 100 kW solar load for commercial industrial customers, as well as 3% aggregate limit and modifying rules to remove 75% load limit. Andy?
Yes, I had included some information in the packets in regard to this, which pretty much explains what we're asking for and what the committee approved last week. I'm just asking that we direct the law director to draft the necessary legislation for these amendments to the solar rules. And I'm certainly open to any questions.
Any questions or comments from council? Okay, I'm hearing none. Is there a motion to draft the law director to draft legislation?
So moved.
Second. Third.
Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes. Okay. Item K11, discussion or action, approval of Charter Review Commission recommendation.
Mayor, did you want to speak to this?
Not much to say because we did discuss and have everyone on this commission review board read everything in our charter as it is and give them some time to think about it, and then they came back and we had no changes were recommended. Billy was a big part of that, talking about what was in there, why things were in there, when they were changed last, and just really didn't have any recommendations to make any changes at this time. So the recommendation is just to approve the charter review, or charter as it.
Okay. Any questions or comments from council? Billy, anything on your end to add?
No, so we met twice. The first time through to discuss kind of what was going on. Andy and I had discussed this previously and spent a good amount of time in preparation for it in the first meeting. And it was our advice that we didn't think anything needed amended. However, we don't vote. So the Charter Review Commission did meet another time after an opportunity to read through everything, to ask any questions that they might have regarding specific portions of the charter. There were some questions asked and answered, but in the end it was the committee's or the commission's opinion and recommendation that no changes were necessary.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion from council to approve?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes. Item K12, discussion or action to appoint one member to the Housing Council.
As Council President, the Housing Council meets just once a year to review the CRAs within the city. And Lori Seclair formerly held a position on that council, so we will have to, council will have to appoint a member to that commission. And we will meet next council meeting, prior to the next council meeting at 6:30 to review those 7 different CRAs.
6:30 on April 1st.
That's correct.
Are there any council members that are eager and willing to participate on the housing council? Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to appoint Tom to the housing council, please?
Motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom, Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes. Thank you, Tom. All right, we will go around the table tonight. Andy, we'll start on your side.
All right. I would like to recognize Napoleon PD as a member of the Henry County Quick Response Team. This is a post-overdose response team that we participate in, and it was recognized as the outstanding quick response team outreach and engagement initiatives in a small community. And they were recognized by both Jim Hoops and Senator Sherrod Brown. Chief, did you want to add anything to this?
Surely. Quick Response Team is essentially a partnership between ourselves, the Health Department, and the Sheriff's Department in whenever there's any type of an overdose, whether that involves a death or a serious injury. It's just getting those families and those survivors the resources that they need to be able to recover from that type of thing. And even if it's someone who survives, getting them some type of recovery from it as well. The reason we were recognized is many counties have a quick reaction team, but they don't have the law enforcement buy-in that our county has. So we were recognized by several different agencies for our participation in that. So that's why we were given that award.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief. We are working, Chad is working diligently to get the grant application complete for the river line crossing. I've solicited some letters of support from some individuals to add to that, and hopefully by Friday we will have it complete, ready to go. And we'll see what we get from that. We had the folks from the spec building that Keller's developed speak very highly of our electric department and the assistance that they provided during their whole development out there. And I just wanted to pass that along. Lastly, and this goes along the same lines with our PD, Officer Tyler Murray assisted with a distressed student a couple of weeks ago. I received an email from Jeff Nicely, the transportation superintendent for the schools, and just recognizing him, showing the compassion that he showed toward the student. The student was attempting to do harm to himself, and Tyler showed great compassion and talked the student out of it and got him the help that he needed. So just wanted to pass along appreciation for the work that our PD does and the work that Tyler did on that particular day. That's all I have.
Billy?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Jordan?
Nothing today.
Bobby?
Nothing.
Ken?
I'm clear.
Mr. Mayor?
I just have a couple things. One, I'd like to appoint Joe Meyer to the Tree Commission. Can have a motion for that. Approval, please.
Second.
Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Okay, and then Chad, I know you've done such a great job already today, but I have two additional questions for you. One, the water line to residents' homes, that the information that is required by us, what is the expectation of the residents? I had somebody ask me, they said, well, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what kind of pipe it is.
Sure. There's some outline on available on our website if they choose to self-report. If they're not comfortable doing that, if they call out to the operations department, they can schedule an appointment for our guys to come out and do that inspection for them. There's no penalty for the individuals. There's no cost for the individuals. However, by October 16th, the EPA is requiring the city to have all that information compiled and reported to them. So if they want to do it themselves, there's a link on our website that they can see in our GIS what information we have. If they're not comfortable doing that, they can call us and schedule an appointment, and we'll send 2 guys out, and they'll take a look and should be in and out in 10 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you. And another thing regarding water lines, we had the water main break or water break on Yeager in Oakwood
Yes.
the other day. I did see that there are some complaints about people not seeing the notes that were put at their doors. Obviously, I mean, I understand the attempt by the city, and if no one's home and there's nowhere to stick that piece of paper, the wind blows, that could be gone. Do we have other ways to contact people, either via email or texting or something we can start to look at that?
The only other contact information would be whatever we have on file in utilities, but I can tell you in my experience, when I get information from utilities, oftentimes the property owners have not updated their contact information. They may have a landline number on file and they no longer have a landline.
Right.
We make an attempt. We actually knock on each door. But beyond that, there's not much my field staff's able to do to try to make that contact. I don't believe we have a spreadsheet of contacts other than what we could pull out of the utility database.
There were over 40, is that correct?
Yes.
Last week.
Is that something we could look at, maybe putting on the bills stating that we're looking to update your information if there is a water break or something else, so we can contact you? And if they choose not to upgrade or update that, then at least we're fine.
We could put that. Yeah, we could post something to that effect on our social media as well, encouraging people to update their information. Yeah, because there's only so much we can do, especially in those situations.
Right.
Worse than that is when it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand
They're
that
probably
sometimes.
getting hold of more people at 2 in the morning.
Maybe. But sometimes those, I send Brian back to the shop and he types up the boil alert information. We stuff little baggies, the little plastic bags, and we hang the plastic bag on the door.
Right.
And we try to get the door that looks like it's most commonly used.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we do in those situations.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And if there's no boil alert required, if we do it under pressure, then we don't do door hangers. That one we did have to issue a boil alert.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
That's all I have.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
I'd like to put out a thank you to Church of the Nazarene for the playground equipment. It's very nice. And also remembrance of Rick Fryman. He was a classmate of mine. That's it.
Just next week, the finance and budget does need to meet. I will talk with Joe and Ken and see if there's a time, perhaps even earlier in the day, that works good for you guys before we then I'll get the information to Amanda.
Yep.
The only thing I got is just mentioned the miscellaneous street improvements project. It's really nice that we could do so many streets, but I also want to recommend how we can. The reason that we're able to do this is just because the due diligence of our operations department, being good stewards of their money the last few years. We've been able to increase that certain street funds that we gained through sales tax, from gasoline tax, and from when people renew their license plates. We've been very fortunate with light snow removal in the last couple of years, but I got to give credit where credit's due. Is that they've been great stewards of their money in the last couple of years, and it's being rewarded by getting these streets done. So kudos to them. Absolutely. That's all I have.
Thank you, Kevin. Nothing for me this evening. We will move on to item M, approve payment of bills and financial reports.
I have a question on the bills.
Yes, sir.
On page 13, there was had to buy a pump for $10,000. Was that new irrigation pump out at the golf course?
No, that was the spare pump that we bought for the pool. That's
Okay.
actually the would be a backup to our main circulation pump. So if the main circulation pump ever went down, we could opt that out so we're not down for a couple weeks.
Has the irrigation system been?
That'll be the next pump you'll see.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Any other questions or comments? Okay. In the absence of any objections or corrections, those will stand approved. They will stand approved. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second. Thank you. Amanda, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.